When two people secretly want each other, the world doesn't say it out loud, but the energy does. There's something haunting, magnetic, almost forbidden about the way two souls try to pretend they feel nothing while their hearts scream everything. It's the kind of connection that doesn't need a kiss or a confession or even words, because the truth hides in the silence, the stolen glances, the way your body reacts before your mind can control it. And if you've ever wondered whether the feeling is mutual, pay attention, because when two people like each other, there are signs that can't be faked. Welcome to Psychology of Desire. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on notifications, and step into a deeper understanding of attraction, desire, and the secrets people don't admit out loud. Now listen carefully, because the first undeniable sign isn't something they say. It's something their energy does. It's the way their presence changes you. You don't even have to see them walk into the room. Somehow your body just knows. Your heartbeat reacts before your eyes confirm they're near. You straighten up, fix your posture, try to pretend you weren't waiting for them, but your mind was already rehearsing what to say. And here's the psychological twist. When two people are mutually attracted, the body anticipates connection before the brain logically approves it. You feel more alive, a little nervous, a little excited, like your emotions suddenly woke up. And guess what? So do theirs. Watch how they behave around you. Do they suddenly become more aware of themselves, fix their hair, adjust their clothes? Do their eyes brighten just a little more the moment they see you? This isn't coincidence. This is subconscious signaling. Nature's way of saying they notice you. They want you to notice them too. And the funniest part, both of you try to pretend you're calm. You try to hide the spark, but your physiology betrays you. There's a moment. It always happens. When your eyes meet, that 1 second where neither of you looks away fast enough, that soft collision of souls that feels like time paused just for you two. If it was nothing, that moment would feel empty. But it doesn't. It feels charged. It feels like you just touched without touching. And that eye contact lingers, not long enough to be obvious, but long enough that if either of you were brave enough, everything could change. Here's where psychology gets darker. When two people like each other, their minds start scanning each other the way a thief scans a locked safe, quietly, carefully, trying not to get caught. You notice their hands, their voice, the way they laugh, the way they smile, and they're noticing you too. You don't stare. They don't stare, but you both look again and again like two magnets pretending they aren't being pulled. Sometimes the connection is so strong it almost scares you. You don't know why you feel drawn to them. You just do. You think about what they might be thinking. You replay conversations. You analyze moments that should have been ordinary, but for some reason weren't. This is the first undeniable sign a person can hide their words, control their behavior, mask their intentions. But attraction leaks through the body. It shows in the eyes, it shows in the voice. It shows in the way silence becomes loud when they're standing next to you. And deep down you feel it. They feel it even if nobody ever says it. If this sounds familiar, then maybe your story isn't imagination. Maybe it's mutual. There's another sign. Subtle, innocent on the surface, but psychologically powerful. When someone likes you and you like them back, conversations stop being normal. They become heavier, deeper, strangely meaningful. Even when you're talking about nothing, you know that feeling, right? Where a simple, "How was your day?" suddenly feels intimate, not because of the words, but because of the tone. Their voice softens with you. Yours does too. You both talk like you're trying to undress each other's mind without being obvious. This is where the emotional vulnerability starts slipping through the cracks. Most people talk to others on autopilot. Quick replies, shallow details, no emotional investment. But when two people secretly care, they stop being robotic. They start revealing pieces of themselves. You notice how they tell you personal things they don't tell everyone. Fears, dreams, what keeps them awake at night. The things that are heavy, private, unfiltered. And here's the psychological clue. Humans don't open up to people they feel nothing for. We only reveal our real self when we feel emotionally safe, and attraction creates that safety faster than friendship ever can. Watch how their body language changes when you talk. They lean in without realizing. Their voice gets quieter like the conversation belongs only to you. They listen differently, not to respond, but to understand. They remember the little things you say, the tiny details, the things most people forget within seconds, but they don't forget because you're not just anyone to them and you're not innocent either. You remember their favorite song, their favorite coffee, the way they said something 3 weeks ago. You replay it in your head. Why? Because your mind stores what your heart wants. There's also a darker layer here, little moments of jealousy, not dramatic, not loud, just quiet flashes of tension. Someone else talks to you and you see that subtle shift in their eyes. They try to act unbothered, but the smile gets tighter. Their posture changes. They suddenly need your attention back. Even if they won't admit it, you feel it too. When someone else has their attention, you notice yourself watching. Not because you're possessive, but because you care. And yet both of you pretend nothing is happening. You smile like everything is normal. But inside, your heart says, why are they giving their attention to someone else? They're supposed to look at me. It's silent jealousy, the kind that only happens when feelings exist. But here's the most fascinating part. Your conversations may not even be constant. You don't have to talk every day. You don't need to text all the time because the connection isn't based on frequency. It's based on intensity. You can go hours, days, even weeks without speaking. But when the conversation returns, it feels like it never paused. Like no time exists between you. Like the thread between you never broke. That's not coincidence, that's emotional imprinting. When someone matters, they don't just exist in your life. They exist in your mind. And maybe you've tried to move on, forget, or distance yourself. But the attraction pulls you back every time two people who like each other can pretend they're friends. They can pretend they're just being nice. They can pretend the feelings don't exist, but energy never lies. Behavior never lies. And silence, especially the kind that feels full, definitely never lies. If this sounds like your story, you're not imagining it. Sometimes the strongest sign isn't in what someone does, it's in what they can't do. When two people like each other, there's a strange tension, a push and pull that neither of you fully controls. You try to act normal, calm, indifferent, but your emotions keep exposing you in ways you never planned. That's where the third undeniable sign appears. They treat you differently than everyone else, not in dramatic, obvious ways. In the quiet, unspoken ones, they notice things about you other people don't. Your mood, your tone, your silence. If you seem upset, they don't just ignore it. They care almost instantly, even if they try to hide it behind casual words like, "You okay? You seem different today? You sure everything's fine?" People don't ask those questions unless you matter and you feel it too. You sense when something is wrong with them. Even if they swear it's nothing, you can hear it in their voice. You can read it in their eyes. Attraction sharpens intuition. It makes you emotionally sensitive to each other, but there's an even deeper layer, the protectiveness. When you like someone, you don't want to see them hurting. You don't want to see them stressed, sad, or treated badly. You defend them, sometimes silently, sometimes out loud. Even a small criticism from someone else makes you feel uncomfortable. You want to shield them from the world, even if you have no right to, and they do the same for you. Pay attention to how differently they respond to you compared to others, how their voice softens, how their eyes linger, how their words come slower, more thoughtful, as if they don't want to say the wrong thing. Psychology calls this emotional prioritization. When someone becomes important, the mind automatically gives them special treatment. You don't plan it, you just do it. Here's the darker part. They get nervous around you, not in a shy, awkward way, in a trying to look controlled but failing way. They fidget. They overthink their words. They laugh at things that aren't even funny. They fix their posture. Their voice shifts. Their breathing changes. Attraction is a biological stress response. Your brain becomes hyper aware of the person you want. So if someone acts confident with everyone else, but suddenly becomes careful, softer, shy, or different with you, that's not a coincidence. You make them feel something. But the strongest psychological sign is this: they notice your absence. When you walk away, they look for you. When you're quiet, they wonder why. When you take longer to reply, they feel it. They don't have to say it out loud. Their behavior says it for them. Maybe they get randomly distant, then suddenly warm again because they're fighting the feeling. Maybe they start conversations about nothing because they just want your attention. Maybe they tease you, annoy you, or joke with you because creating an emotional reaction is better than being ignored. Humans don't chase people they feel nothing for. We chase the ones who make us feel alive. And sometimes the most confusing part is this. You both know something is there, but nobody is brave enough to say it. Why? Because liking someone who likes you back is scary. You're afraid of ruining the friendship. They're afraid of rejection. You're scared of being hurt. They're scared of losing you. So instead, you both live in the almost, the tension, the unspoken chemistry. But chemistry can't stay silent forever. It always finds a way to show itself. If this feels like your story, you're not imagining it. You're feeling it. There's a moment that always gives the truth away. Not when you're together, laughing, talking, flirting, but when you're about to leave. Pay attention to what happens in that final second. Because when two people like each other, goodbyes never feel simple. You'll notice it in the hesitation, the pause, the tiny delay, like both of you are waiting for something, a word, a look, a sign that neither of you is brave enough to give. Maybe they say, "All right, I'll see you later," but their voice doesn't sound like someone ready to walk away. Maybe they linger, stand a little too close, their body refusing to leave even though their legs say they should. Psychology calls this attachment hesitation. When someone likes you, their brain tries to stretch every second of your presence, sometimes without a single word, and then it gets deeper. When you're gone, they don't mentally switch you off. Your presence leaves an echo. You stay in their head. They replay conversations, moments, glances, as if the smallest memory of you has become their favorite place to hide. You do the same. You catch yourself checking your phone, wondering if they'll text, hoping they'll start a conversation even about nothing. "Did you reach home? What are you doing? I saw something today that reminded me of you." Those messages aren't accidental. They're fingerprints of longing. And if they don't message, there's another sign. They watch your stories, like your posts, react to your updates quietly, consistently. Because people who like you will always seek some form of presence in your world, even if they don't have the courage to say what they feel. But here's where the psychology turns darker and more powerful. Even silence becomes communication. If you don't show up one day, if you don't text, don't call, don't appear, they notice, they wonder, they feel it. Not because they're obsessed, but because you've become emotionally relevant. There's also the territorial instinct. When someone else flirts with you, compliments you, stands too close, you'll see it, that flicker in their eyes. Not anger, not drama, just quiet discomfort they can't hide. Because attraction comes with a silent claim. I don't want anyone else to have what I feel connected to. They won't say it, but jealousy speaks louder than confessions. And there's another sign people overlook. They remember your scars, your sad days, your fears, your insecurities. Someone who only likes your beauty forgets you quickly. Someone who likes you remembers the things that hurt you. They notice when you go quiet, even if you smile. They hear the pain behind your jokes. They ask if you're okay, even when you say you are. That's not curiosity. That's emotional investment. And when you open up just a little, they listen with a focus the world never gives you. No phone, no distractions, just you. Because when you care about someone, their feelings matter more than your comfort. Here's the strangest part. Even when both of you try to end the connection, ignore it, distance from it, pretend you don't care, you always come back. Why? Because real mutual attraction has gravity. You can walk away, but your emotions stay seated next to them. So if someone's goodbyes feel heavy, if their silences feel loud, if you feel their presence even when they're not there, that's no coincidence. That's real and you know it. There is a point where mutual attraction stops being a theory and becomes undeniable reality. It happens when both of you start protecting the connection. Even if nobody has confessed anything, you don't flirt the same way with others anymore. You don't talk about just anyone with them. You become careful, almost loyal, without a label, without a promise, without a single conversation saying, "You should." You start considering how your actions might affect them. They do the same. And this is where the final and most powerful sign appears. You both create a world where only the two of you exist. It might be in the way you share secrets with only them, the way you send memes only they would understand, the way you give them a nickname that nobody else has. The inside jokes, the teasing, the small compliments hidden beneath sarcasm. These are emotional fingerprints, marks that say you're special to me, you're different, you matter. And then there are the moments that scare you. The thought of losing them hurts even though technically they're not yours. That's how the heart tells the truth. The mouth refuses to speak. You imagine what it would feel like if they suddenly stopped talking to you, if they disappeared. If someone else took your place in their life, the idea stings. Not because you're weak, but because feelings don't ask for permission before they grow. And when they feel the same, you see it. They get quiet when you mention someone else. They ask subtle questions. They want to know where you are, who you were with, why you didn't reply sooner. They're not trying to control you. They just want reassurance that you still feel what they feel. And then the moment of truth. One small touch. Maybe their hand brushes yours. Maybe their fingers tap your arm. Maybe their shoulder presses against yours a second longer than necessary. That touch is never accidental. It's testing a boundary, a silent question. Will you pull away or lean closer? You don't pull away. They don't either because the body always tells the story before the voice does. And here's the greatest psychological truth of all. When two people like each other, they don't need to say it. The connection speaks for them. It's in the eye contact that burns just a little too long, in the jealousy that feels too real, in the silence that feels too full, in the goodbye that feels unfinished. Mutual attraction is two hearts playing chess, both waiting, both wanting, both scared to lose. So if you felt this, if someone has shown you these signs, if your mind keeps returning to them, no matter how hard you try to move on, then stop doubting it. You don't imagine feelings this strong. You don't invent chemistry this real. You don't hallucinate someone caring this deeply. Sometimes the only reason two people haven't said the words is because the connection is too beautiful to risk breaking. But the truth is already there in the eyes, in the energy, in the silence. You both like each other and you both know it. Thank you for watching Psychology of Desire. If this video touched something inside you, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. See you in the next one.